The United States took the key words in destabilization from local coup leaders only a couple weeks ago to GTFO, while the French are burying their heels into the sides of the coup leadership that has taken over what was once a colony of theirs down in the Western African region. Now, this has been known to be an issue because there's been issues from the West stating that there are destabilization issues that are occurring with misinformation from the Russian side, and it seems to be a battle here, which is going over a few various things that people need to understand of why this is happening. The number one thing is you can look at that the president of Niger has been overthrown because he was backed previously by Western culture and Western ideologies. On top of that, you have to look at why is this occurring and why these lines are being drawn. And number one is economic destabilization in this region, as it's been a hub of small resources that are very important to make things go boom. On top of that, this has been a very weird region when it comes to fighting terrorism, right? As people are saying, that is what this region should be known for, and why we as US or the French were very much about this happening. It's a battle of ideology in a region that is destabilized. So, and on top of that, we should include resources that are very desirable as well. And if you guys have not been keeping up on the news, the French president here has actually been given the ultimatum over the past hours, which he disregarded, saying that they should remove all diplomats, anybody that is a representative of the French government, out of the country, and that by not doing so, this would pretty much cause an international incident per se. And the coup is actually asking for people to come out of the woodwork to help them make sure they still stay in power here. But the French president has a few kind words to say. He says, "Our policy is the right one. It depends on the courage of President Mohamed Bazoum, the commitment of our diplomats, of our ambassadors on the ground who is remaining despite pressure," Macron told a gathering of French ambassadors in Paris. They also said one shouldn't give into the narrative used by the coup leaders that consists of saying France has become our enemy, Macron said Monday, and says the problem of Nigerians today is the coup leaders who put them in danger because they are abandoning the fight against terrorism, because they are abandoning a policy that was economically good for quotations of population, and they are in the process of losing international funding that was helping them emerge from poverty. If you guys like coverage here on this topic and you like other topics like this, I appreciate if you guys hit the like and comment button. It does a lot of things to help push the channel. It should, not be brushed over here that the French have actually still maintained some footing in this area, as it's reported they have around 1,500 troops still staying in Niger as of the writing of this article that I'm covering here, and various others. But I was thinking that there was a lot less than that. So they are not backing down. I don't know how effective this 1,500 are. Is this like a special forces? Who are these people that are actually on the ground? And what resources do they have? And obviously, as I discussed, there are neighboring destabilized areas as well that are looking to try and get involved in this or back this up. And the coup leaders have actually been requesting their help. The junta, led by Brigadier General Abdurrahmani, I think is how you say it, Takani, ordered the Nigerian armed forces to go on maximum alert over quotations threats of aggression to national territory, and asked the military-led governments of neighboring Mali and Burkina Faso to send troops to help defend them. And Russia has taken no breaks from their issues over in Ukraine to actually continue to push narratives and misinformation inside the country of Niger across Telegram channels and various other places. And they have some very wild claims that they're making against why the U.S. is involved, why the French are involved, and what the intentions are, which are pretty crazy, but the information is going wild. But pro-Russian Telegram channels more broadly have continued to discuss or push disinformation about Niger at generally the same levels as before Prigozhin's death. According to research by Logically, a technology company tackling potentially harmful online content and disinformation based in the UK, India, and US. And they say Logically detected only 11 pieces of content relating to Niger in the month before the coup, and 742 pieces of content since. The company identified a significant increase in the amount of content pushing anti-French narratives on these accounts, though it found the negative sentiments towards Paris and Niger, a former French colony, were already widespread before the coup. And what they have showed is that this level of increase has increased so dramatically of what happened before the coup that this is a 6,645% increase. That is insane. They saw the opportunity, went through the door, bust it right open. And just to get into some of the conspiracy or misinformation, I feel like all these words are buzzwords that essentially just get thrown around at some point to say, we don't really know what's going on, but this is what they're reporting on. It says one video that was circulated widely on TikTok and Facebook in February falsely presented footage filmed during an attempted coup in March 2021 in Niamey as a fresh incident involving firing around the president's residence. Underneath were postings by contributors that fiercely criticized Bazoum and his supporter of France. Other footage was deployed in the same way to mislead viewers. Fake bulletins showed a French attack on a Nigerian military convoy and contained accusations that France's forces were secretly working with Islamist extremists. And I'm going to share my next one because I thought this was kind of crazy that they would think this would be the case. They say similar examples found biologically in recent weeks include a post from a Russian quotations fact-checking Telegram channel with more than 600,000 subscribers that claimed instability in Niger and other nations was being fomented by Western powers as a consequence of their desire to join the BRICS group of developing world countries, which has been broadly supportive of Russia since the outbreak of war in Ukraine. So I think the whole reason why we're doing this, trying to destabilize it, is just to throw them off because BRICS, which is this new currency that's trying to be brought together by Brazil, Russia, India, China, we could go through the entire thing here, but it is insane that that's what they're thinking here is why we want to destabilize the region when we already had stability in the region, but you would have to have some backstory to understand that. And as I continue to try and break this entire situation down, understand why, follow the money, why, and the only thing I can ever come down to is the uranium, which is one of the main natural resources in this region. And obviously, some of you guys may or may not know, this makes things go boom that are very dangerous. And we've had the Russians talk about they would reduce some of their armament in this field. But if they are looking to influence, if they're looking to grab this, that's pretty easy. And this takes place at two different places within Niger that most people are unaware of, but they're the tiniest little towns that you can see on the map here. And this includes the cities of Akokan and also Arlit, which are just right by each other. And even the photo on Google here is just of the mine here. So this region, I think, is another destable region as we're seeing the proxy continue down into Africa. If you want to look at any maps of how China's been influencing with, I would say, bad debts down into Africa. On top of that, Russia's not going to miss out on any of that. And I would say the U.S. has been kind of pushed to very isolated areas during these times that are kind of turbulent. But let me know, do you think the U.S. should have a more proactive approach? Do you think that we should be taking some kind of effort there? Or do you think we should step back and let things kind of fall apart and then just see areas where we can interject kind of how Russia's doing as well? Or do you think we already have some stuff going on underneath? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.